Good afternoon, everybody. Anthony Aniano here from RotoBaller Radio and RotoBaller.com with the Week 7 sleeper and value plays for your 2022 fantasy football season. Recording this Thursday, right before the Thursday night matchup, to help you prepare for setting your lineups or your DFS lineups for the upcoming week. Okay, we start at the quarterback position. Matt Ryan of the Indianapolis Colts. Nice little sleeper value play on DraftKings this season, averaging 17.1 fantasy points per game. Priced at $5,400 on that same DraftKings format. Currently, the Tennessee Titans defense allows 23.6 points per game. They're terrible at defending against opposing QBs, allowing 26.1 fantasy points per game and leading the league with 12 touchdown passes allowed in 5 games. Now, Matt Ryan, we know he has Michael Pittman. Alec Pierce, who we'll talk about actually in a little bit, has been super consistent of late. Paris Campbell got involved. Matt Ryan threw the ball, 58 times last week. Now, Jonathan Taylor back at practice gives the Colts offense a little bit more balance. Won't have to throw the ball 58 times. But against the defense that's allowed 12 passing touchdowns, Matt Ryan should be able to find the end zone once or twice with his emerging wide receiver crew. At the running back position, my first value and sleeper play for Week 7, Tony Pollard of the Dallas Cowboys. People use him oftentimes as a streaming flex option, and if that's what you're doing, especially in a week with 4 teams on the bye, like the Buffalo Bills, Philadelphia Eagles, the Rams as well, and the Minnesota Vikings, Tony Pollard in a terrific spot this week against the Detroit Lions. Pollard averages 10.2 points per game on a DraftKings format, priced at $5,700. Now, he'll share with Ezekiel Elliott, no doubt about that, but he's gotten his, like I said, averaging double-digit fantasy points per game, and goes against a Lions defense that allows 34 points per game, that allows 29.3 fantasy points per game to opposing running backs. That is 31st in the league, second to last. Quite frankly, terrible. They've allowed a total of 8 touchdowns to opposing running backs in 5 games. My second running back this week, Brian Robinson of the Washington Commanders. Scored 12 fantasy points last week, got in the end zone, yet he's priced at $5,500 this week on DraftKings, and really the starting running back job now is his to hold. Okay, stronger emphasis potentially on the running game with Carson Wentz out and Tyler Heineke quarterbacking for the Washington Commanders. They face a Green Bay Packer defense that is 21st in the league against opposing running backs, allowing 22.8 points per game with 4 total touchdowns. Keep in mind, fellow rookie Breece Hall went 20 carries, 116 yards, and a touchdown versus that same Packer defense, and for a total of 23.1 fantasy points. At the wide receiver position, if I'm going to pick on Tennessee's defense with Matt Ryan, I'm going to continue picking on them at the wide receiver position, and Alec Pierce is just grossly undervalued at this point. 10.2 points per game on DraftKings, yet a price of $4,600. This is a wide receiver who has 22 targets over his last 3 games and 12 or more fantasy points in each of those 3 games. Tennessee is 31st in the league against opposing wide receivers, allowing 44.3 fantasy points to that position. Michael Pittman can eat, and so can Alec Pierce this week against Tennessee. Tennessee has allowed 8 touchdowns in 5 games to wide receivers alone. My second wide receiver, Michael Gallup against the Detroit Lions. We're picking on Tennessee and we're picking on Detroit this week, ladies and gentlemen. Michael Gallup averaging 7.5 fantasy points per game. I expect a lot more this week, yet he's priced at only $5,100 on DraftKings. He's got 12 targets in his last 2 games, and let's keep in mind, this is the first time all season now Dallas's offense has been as close to healthy as it's ever been. Okay, we have Pollard, we have Zeke, we have Dak back, Gallup back with Dak, as well as CeeDee Lamb. Detroit allows 37.8 fantasy points per game to opposing wide receivers. That's 25th in the league, and they have allowed 5 touchdowns to opposing wide receivers. I expect Gallup as well as Pollard to be involved. And finally, my sleeper value play at the tight end position. Now, be mindful of this. Gerald Everett of the Chargers did miss Wednesday's practice due to illness, not injury. That's why I'm including him today. As long as it's not COVID, I expect him on the field Sunday against the Seattle Seahawks. He averages 9.7 points per game on DraftKings, yet he's priced at only $4,000. Okay, he's got 6 or more targets in 4 of his 6 games this year. Keenan Allen has been limited, hasn't played in a couple of weeks, limited to practice, still up in the air for week 7, potentially out at the time of this recording. We shall see. Seattle allows the most points per game to opposing tight end than any other team in the league. 23 fantasy points per game to opposing tight ends. They've allowed 4 touchdowns on the season to tight ends. Gerald Everett in a smash spot against the Seattle Seahawks defense, and at priced at only $4,000 on DraftKings, he is a terrific value play this week for your fantasy football team. So in review, the Week 7 sleeper and value plays. Quarterback, Dak Prescott. Quarterback, Dak Prescott. I love Dak this week as well. But quarterback, for Week 7 of the sleeper and value plays, quarterback, Matt Ryan. Running backs, Tony Pollard and Brian Robinson. Wide receivers, Alec Pierce and Michael Gallup. And your tight end for Week 7, Gerald Everett. All right, everybody, head over to RotoBaller.com. Sign up now for the promo using the promo code ACES. Save yourself 10% at discount. Get all sorts of great content, waiver wire, sleepers and value plays, team sync tools, lineup optimizers. Give me a follow on Twitter at @Aniano Fantasy. And good luck this week, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll see you next time from RotoBaller Radio.